Live, guys. I'm gonna get the chat up on my I call it the trap phone here, but we're gonna be discussing all of these different motors. We have from 20 series, 25 horsepower, 1721, 1717, 1515, 1512. Oh my god, what is this? I just went blank. 1415, 1412, 10 series, and 08 series, and we pretty much have all the castle motors over here, and this is gonna be pretty cool. So I'm gonna wait for a few more of you to hop in, and then we're going to we're gonna head on into this. We're gonna head on into this now. Let me just pull this up over here. Cool. All right. Let me see. What's going on, guys? Holy poop! 11 of you are already in here. That's amazing. What's up? What is going on? How's it going? I'm just waiting for a few more guys to show up, and then we're going to start talking about these beautiful shiny things over here. Yeah, and then, so I have like 8th scale to 5th scale. Then I have pretty much small 8th scale to pretty much mini and micro over here, and I'm just going to be discussing all of that. I don't really have anything to put them on. Maybe I do. Yeah, I lied. So I'll just put them on this just so you guys can see a little bit better here, because they just have wires, so I just can't stand them up. But we have this. That's our 1415. This is our 14. What the hell is it? Oh my god. 1412. God. My memory's going. I hope my memory doesn't go. And then we have a little baby tiny 0808. We just try to respectfully move them back to size here. Yeah, I guess that's fine. All right. Bam, 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 and bam. Now, this live is going to be different. This is going to be completely different. Completely different. Because I'm not working on anything. This is actually going to be for you. I mean, this is literally, that's what this is for. This is exactly for you guys. And I'm just, I'm here to answer questions. And, you know, so here. We pretty much have almost the whole castle lineup right over here. Trying to get this to like balance up. I don't know, but either way, if you guys have questions, make sure you drop them in the comments, and we will start discussing. Disgusting. Oh my god, discussing. We're going to be oh my goodness, we're going to start discussing these motors. That's what we're going to do. So obviously, I'm pretty hyped for this, and I'm tripping over my own words. Yeah, so that's that, and I'm going to pull up the comments on the phone here. So if you guys have any comments about your vehicle or whatever you have or intend to get, if you're thinking of buying a motor but not sure which one you want, ask me. That is that. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay. I'm just going to here. Okay. Bam, bam, bam. Let's see. Give me just 1 second. I'm just putting a post out on Instagram so people can get linked into this this live. Just because I'd rather just do YouTube. Just it's easier to just route everyone to YouTube rather than YouTube and Instagram. And until I figure out the whole where I get to record once, but it gets spread over, you know, all over different platforms, I would rather just do YouTube. So, all right, let's see if this thing right here work now. Visit link. Let's see. But I'm trying to learn myself technology. I know this technology. Okay, cool. Bam. And it brought us right there. Okay, so now I'm gonna read the chat. So let's see. What's up, Main P Racing? How's it going? 3-Phase Innovations. As always, you do a great job on your builds. Love all the info. I appreciate that, 3-Phase. Thank you, thank you. Dex Andrews, what up? What up, though? That looks like 560 or something over there. It's close. 800. 800. It's in the same class. It's in the same, you know, big, I like to call them Juggernaut class, you know, just throws big scale trucks around like it's nothing. So yeah, that's 8S and up. Main P Racing, I run a felony with your 10,000 milliamp 4S batteries. Before I even go on, thank you for buying them. I appreciate that very much. What's a good motor? And I like the Spectrum 8S. What's a good motor? A felony. What's your ESC? It all depends on the ESC, you know, because you don't want to give it too much motor, and it's pretty much going to be kind of pointless. It's like running a 20 plus horsepower motor, and the ESC can only dump out, let's say, you know, a certain amount of amps, in which the motor's not even going to be ran to its fullest extent, and that's that. Just need to be careful what you buy. You don't want to buy too much when you have an ESC that's not even going to run, you know. You need to make sure you have a good ESC that's going to enable to have the motor like, all right, I'm going to use 100% of you, because that's that. It really depends. An Arrma felony. So here's the thing. What I would do, first off, I don't even know what you're doing, but what I would do, step one, I would take a 17 series, and this guy, this is like a 15, 18-year-old 1717. This is the original 1717. This is before all the sensor stuff. I don't have a 1717 can. Well, that's newer in green. So I mean, I have this one. It's the same thing. So this guy right here, this is what you're going to want to start at in your 1/7 scale Arrma. If it's anything better than stock, this is where it starts, because stock is around this size. This is a 2200. 1515, and the KV of a stock Arrma felony is 2050. So even going with this, you'll get a little bit more RPM out of it, and you could actually run this guy on 7S. Don't tell anyone, but it's going to get really hot, and you really don't want to do that, which is why the 1717 is really good for your next step up. If you're wanting to do like an 8S application, it's going to run, you know, it's going to run kind of hot on 8S, but 6S, playing around and bashing at 80, 90, 100 miles an hour, this is a perfect step up. Now, if you want another step up, 1721. Now, keep in mind, it's the same exact thickness as the 1717, except the 1721, well, the 21 part is just taller, and you guys can see the difference right here. If you go with the 2400 kV 1721, this guy is going to draw a lot of amps. And here's the thing: if you have, like, as you said you like Spectrum, the Spectrum 8S ESC, this motor's pointless. It's genuinely pointless. You're only going to be able to put out 160 amps. 160 amps, in which this motor, that's like less than half of the total amperage of what you need to get the full power of this motor. So that's why I'm saying this is going to be a good middleman. That's going to be a perfect first step up, you know, at least until you get a much better ESU. Once you go with the X8S, then this is where you're going to want, you know, to like try to match your ESC with the motor. You don't want to get too much motor and too little ESC. Yeah, so that's that. Let's see what else. Main piece, Spectrum 160. Yeah, so exactly as I said, the Spectrum 160 is really a Hobbywing 100, and it's a Max 6. That's an okay ESC. That's slightly better than stock. But with what you're paying to get that, especially in an Arrma felony, if your intention, hey, I want to do 120, 130 reliably, don't even bother with that ESC, because let's say you run it once and then the second time, it's not going to want to dump out the amperage. It just doesn't want to do that after running it once. You know, maybe on 8S, if you gear it very mild, you might be able to do 120, you know, but if you want an easy peasy 120, 130, hell, you could even run this. That's what I run in, oh my god, what's his face? I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Oh my, what's his name? Midnight, oh my god. So he's my Arrma Typhon 6S, and this is all it needs. It doesn't need an XLX, it doesn't need a big 20, you know, all it has is this in it. And I could push a lot more, but I like getting 124 miles an hour, 124, which is 120. Reliably, easy, and the motor isn't like, oh, stop, you know. You gotta have fun with this. So you want to be able that you match whatever ESC, whatever motor you have responsibly. And I'll say the Firma 160 amp, at most you want to run a 1717. This is pointless. Let's see what's next. Okay, I do 125 to 135 yard. Okay, so you pretty much do drag racing. With the no matter what you do, you're still going to draw the identical amount of amps, regardless if you're racing 100 feet, 200 feet, or half a mile in speed runs. Amperage is still going to be there, whether it's there sooner or later. You just if you're running 8S, you're going to see a little bit of a performance difference, but it's not going to be astronomical, because I'll tell you, I'll take a Castle X8S ESC running 4S over a Arrma 160 amp running 8S. It's just because it could dump out more power. Not as efficient, but it'll just dump out that power that you need, especially if you're racing from here to here, not speed runs, just from here to here. You need that instant power. So I would say you're going to have to run 8S, and you just gear it mildly with a 1650. That's that. 1650, 1717. It's like the AK-47 of real guns. Can never go wrong with it. And here's the thing. You could still keep it when you get an X8S or an XLX2, and you could do 140, 150 with it. You can definitely do that. It just depends on what the ESC is looking to allow. Okay, so that was the first question, and I actually got into it. I showed him love and all that. I actually explained the genuine truth. I'm not holding anything back. I don't want you guys buying a big motor, but here's the thing. I'm speaking real with all of my experiences. Now, notice how long I took. It wasn't just like just run this and done. No, I'm actually, talking to you, I guess. So, with that being said, for all of you guys who are watching, and if you want to support the channel, look, I have the board of awesomeness over here. And now I actually put it on a chair. We've upgraded, guys. There's a chair, and it's holding the board of awesomeness. So if you guys donate at all, I greatly appreciate it, whether it's $1 or what, it doesn't matter. I appreciate every single one of you who do so. If you don't, that's still okay, because I love doing this. Stuart Dance with $1, Dad's Big Reg, Reggie, 5 and 5, Sean Massey $10, Melvin Vega $10, the RC Rat Bag, $14.99 Aussie dollar. I appreciate all of you guys who tuned into the previous stream and donated. So I love y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so now with the next one, let me check my trap phone here. It's not a trap phone. Okay, next step up. Best for a 200 mile an hour build. All right, here we go. High power, really high power. Actually, hang on. So main P, he replied after that. So what ESC do you need? If you want to get from here to there, I recommend an X8S. Do I have one? Crap. I do not. I don't, but I have a Cobra and I have an XLX right over here. But I would 1,000%, 120,000% get an X8S. Just get that one and done it. Whether you're going to the top or whether you're playing around, that's going to be the ESC. The ESC is going to last longer, obviously, if you play around. A lot of the guys who drag race, a lot of the guys who really drag race, like they bet money, hundreds and thousands of dollars, their ESCs don't last too long because they're pushing it to the limit. And that's expected, because keep in mind, the more power you push, you are, you're stressing the ESC out every time. And everything's got a breaking point. So people are like, oh, well, X8S, it's good, but it's hit or miss. Well, of course it's hit or miss, because let's say you run a really long TP motor, high kV on high voltage, it's going to stress the board out and you're going to pop something. But that's the only ESC that's willing to do it. You don't see anyone else using anything else unless they're running crazy high voltage. But then that wouldn't be a drag setup. Drag is usually between 6 and 8S. Go X8S. End of story. Save yourself the time and the money. So you might as well just get a combo. 1650 X8S combo. All right, so that's that. Let's see. Next one. Francis Bragg. Best for a 200 mile an hour build. 8S build with an XLX2. Need gearing too. Well, I won't give the gearing. I'm just kidding. I don't care. 200 miles an hour. So keep in mind, what's the fastest you have currently gone? Because all the guys doing 200 miles an hour, they have the ability to start, let's say, at 120, 130, 140, and so on and so forth. The guys that get to that point, they have a very consistent road to run on. If you don't have like a really pristine road, you know, I just don't want you to waste money like me. I built Vision, which is twice of what Spartan runs, and I can even run them. It's like a $2,500 car, and that was right before anyone broke 200. I was going to try to break 200 with it. Then the road closed. So if you have the road, 1,000%. Now let's speak further. So that's the thing. All right, so let's see. I'm just checking up on here. So your fastest that you've gone is 175. All right, so 170. Yeah, that's really fast. All right, so you pretty much know what you're doing. If you want to, I mean, if you're looking to do 200 miles an hour, you're going to need torque. When you're above 160, 170 miles an hour, in which you are already, chances are you're using either a single big motor or twin longer can TP motors, in which those are super rev happy. Those are great motors to do speed run stuff with. I mean, hell, I love my 1100 when I speed ran it. It wasn't hot by the time I got done running with it. If you're looking to do about 200 miles an hour, obviously on 8S with the 1100 K, actually, hang on, what motor do you have? Let me see. Hang on, I'm just trying to see what you're saying. What KV motor do you have? Main P, is it better to run 4S 1000 or 8S? Which gives you the best speed? I mean, 8S, main P racing. 8S is going to give you more torque, and it's just more potential. You know, there's still guys doing 120 on 2S, 130 on 3S, and, you know, you don't have to run crazy high voltage. You just need to get your setup right, and that's the big thing. So hang on, I'm just trying to see. 8S build with an XLX2. All right, so either way, I'll just shoot the ship right now. If you don't have any motor, personally, you could go with the 1700. It's the identical can size right here. Big boy motor, right? This is a, I think this is 800. No, this is 1100. 1100 kV. So if you're looking to do 200, the biggest thing that you need to worry about is putting power down. That's going to be that. And then torque. Torque is number 2 because you're pushing a car, you know, of decent size. And then, you know, you have to push through the air. That's why, you know, cars at like 400 or 500 horsepower, it's hard for them to break 200. But then again, you see around the 700, 800, 900 horsepower range, well, real cars, they can actually push, you know, 200 plus. And obviously Bugatti with their 250 and a Koenigsegg, I feel they're just more aerodynamic. I personally like Koenigsegg more, but there's 1500 horsepower, 1600. You need torque, you need power to get to that. So obviously that's why you want this big ass, that's why you want this big mill. So here's the thing, if you're gonna wanna do 200, you're probably gonna wanna run 2 of these. You see this thing right here, actually. This is a dual motor mount, and I'm saving this for a pretty badass project. It's not gonna do 200, but it's going to be well worth it. You're going to want to put 2 either 11 or 2 1700 kV of these guys in there. So you're going to have the torque. You'll have the wattage output in the motors to be able to push you past that 200 mile an hour mark. Now here's the thing. 1700 kV in this can size is going to draw a lot of amps. It's going to draw a lot of amps. Larger can, higher kV, it's literally a progressive amp draw, which is why the 1721 2400 isn't all the time used in drag race, because guys just get on it and it chokes the ESC. As I said, it chokes him out. And well, this motor is actually kind of big, 2400. So hang on, before I even get into that, so you want to run twin 1700s or twin 1100s, I would say. Personally, I like the 1100. It's a mild, very torquey motor, and I've had success at 160 until the road closed. 2 of them, you know, you can easily do 200. You have the power to do it. So regarding the gearing, you're probably going to want to run with 2 of these. Let me think of the gearing. Spartan did 150. Then you're probably going to want to add 25 teeth, which is around 45, 50 miles an hour on top of that. Hang on, I'm processing. So obviously you're going to want to run 8S. On 8S, you're probably going to want to run 20 20 or 22 tooth spur gear. So in the middle of this, you're probably going to want to run that. And now keep in mind, I'm not giving you the exact, you know, the exact gearing, because personally, I've never been to 200. So why are you asking me? I don't know. I agree with myself, but I'm just telling you, you know, I'm just going off a little bit of math off of what I've ran Spartan at. And if you were to get the equivalent gear ratio, you're probably going to want to run around a 20 to 22, maybe 23 on the spool gear. And you're probably going to want to like a 40, no, sorry, not 40. Oh my God. Maybe a 55, maybe a 55 pinion on each, maybe 54, 30. You're going to want to be in the 50s at the pinion, and you're going to want to be in the low 20s of your center, whatchamacallit. And you're going to have a good trigger pull. If you do it too hard, it might, you know, might trick the ESC out. You want to lower the throttle speed on your remote. It's a free upgrade. I would just do that. But yeah, you could definitely break over 190 to 200 with that kind of gearing. You might need less, actually. You might need less. Oh, actually, no, sorry. That's with the 1100, the gearing that I said. The gearing that I said is with the 1100. With the 1700, you're probably going to want 28, 29. $29.50, 29.48 pinion, 48 pinion, 29 spur. I'm gonna say that for 200 with twin 1700s. I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be around there, plus or minus 5 teeth. Let's see. Henry Vega, you all, what engine would serve a car Gorgon? Please write to this email. Wait, Henry Vega, I could just answer that for you right now. I could just answer it. I actually built a Gorgon, actually on Instagram, he goes as Chimpy Peppers. And I swear I've fallen in love with it after building that Gorgon. Now, for a Gorgon, that's a 110 scale 2-wheel drive. It's not too heavy, and it doesn't draw too much amps because, one, it's not 4-wheel drive. Here's what I would recommend. None of these guys. I would go with one of these, okay? This is Castle's 6400 kV drag motor. I would not recommend this kV. They have actually a different kV of the same identical can size, in which that is what I put in Chimpy Pepper's Gorgon, and it never runs hot. It's cold on 2S and 3S and whatever. 1412, 2400. If you're looking to if you're just looking to be, let's say, 20 miles an hour, if you're not looking to go fast, but you'll never get hot. If you want to actually go kind of faster, get the 1412, 3200. I actually have one in my in Booger here. Actually, hang on. His name is Booger. Oh, just got back from the gym, I swear. All right, here's Booger. And I just actually put a short video out on Instagram. There's a 1412 3200 in this thing. That's going to be the motor that you're going to want. 1000% in a Gorgon. It's still going to give you a solid amount of speed without compromising too much. But Chimpy Peppers, he wanted more torque. He wanted cool. He wanted it to be cool. I don't blame him. Here's the thing: that 2100 that he got, he could run on that on 4S, but you don't need to. It's a 2-wheel drive. It's going to flip everywhere on 3S and 2S to begin with. So I would recommend 3200, 1412. Run that on 2S, and yeah. This right here, this is a 1415, and you guys can see it's a little bit taller. God, if I could just put it flush up right there. It's a little bit taller. Identical thickness, a little bit taller. This is a 2400 kV. This is a little bit longer of a motor, in which, being that the motor sticks out on the side of a Arrma Gorgon, you probably don't want to get one that's too long, because let's say if you land like on the side, you could hurt the motor. You kind of want to avoid that. Just get the 1412 3200, 1000%. That's what I would recommend. Let's see. Checking up on you should start main P racing. You should start teaching RC classes. Honestly, I think that would be great. Like, I don't mind doing classes in general. Like, I love talking about this stuff, and I love helping you guys out. And hell, if I save you guys money on knowing what you want the first time, because I'll tell you, and I'm not trying to seem like cheesy, but I've seen a lot and I've done a lot, you know, despite my age. I've seen a lot, I've done a lot, I've royally screwed up a lot, and in turn that's taught me a lot. So yeah, I would love to do a, you know, class. Fake name, damn dude, just dropping mass RC knowledge. I try to, it's purge anatomy. Just so I can try to absorb some of. I appreciate that, fake name. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. 180 with my combination. Francis Brigg. Which gearing and which motor? Because I originally said the 1100, in which I meant it to be for the 1700 with the 1100 gearing. Either way, that's crazy fast still. It's around the same area, and you just have to have like really good batteries. Hell, I mean, you might not need to gear up anymore. Just run yeah, 1700. Yeah, so 1700, I would say 22, 23 center gear, and then the pinion I probably do like 48 to 50, and I'd see where that is. I'd check your logs on the battery, see how much more they can do. Let's say after you break 180 and change, then I would gear it up, you know, a little bit more, probably 55 or so on the pinion, and then you'll probably be around 200 miles an hour. Or hell, you could probably run parallel 8S. Parallel 8S keeps the voltage up. Go up a couple teeth and just pull the trigger slower, and hopefully the ESC won't freak out on you. You know, it's the only thing. You're playing with the ESC. If the ESC says no. Andrew Surrey, still Christmas. Oh man, no, not anymore. Now it's hot again here in Florida. It's gross. Let's see, fake name. Which one of those is the closest to the same size? In a Kraton 6S V6. Fake name, he just asked. All right, so the closest thing to an OEM Kraton 6S is this right here. This is a, well, it's a limited edition, the gold 2200 kV 1515. This is literally actually, hang on. Oh, my legs. I did legs. Hang on. I think that motor is actually, I have the OEM motor. I'm curious myself. Hang on. I swear, I tried standing up and my legs said no. All right, so here, I have the OEM Arrma BLX motor, and this is a previous generation one. It's identical size. And yeah, it's super duper close. This is what came in, actually, I mean, they're pretty much the same size. This is the original BLX motor right here. And it's, you know, it's not going to make a difference in size. It could just be the can, the shape of the can. This motor I'm never getting rid of. This is a sweet motor. It's a great motor, the original BLX. 2050 kV, this is 2200. This is going to have a little bit more RPM just because it's 2200. And it's also censored. So upon startup, it's going to easily overcome its own static friction of 0 miles an hour. And it's going to be smooth the whole way through the RPM after that. So if you get a 2200, you know, it's going to be, I would say, a little bit of an upgrade. But in a Kraton 6S, oh, hang on, you guys can't see. 100,000% just get a 1717. It's definitely an upgrade. It's not just like, oh, it's a little bit better. You know, you're going to be spending around 200 anyway. Get the 1717. All right, let's see. Welcome, guys. Welcome. All the new guys who just came in. Thank you for joining. We're talking about motors, RC motors today. We have probably, oh my God, 25 plus 18. We probably have like 50, 40 horsepower right here at least. Yeah, anytime fake name. So we have 40 horsepower worth of motors on this table, and I do appreciate all of you guys coming in. For all of you who are new to the channel, thank you for joining Innovation RC Live. Now, I'm just going to say this probably every, 30 minutes. We've been left for 30. So I guess every like 15 or so minutes, I'll just say. If anyone wants to donate, I appreciate every single bit. If you guys don't, that's still okay. But everything is used so I can keep doing this with you guys. You know, so I love teaching you guys. I want to keep doing this. All proceeds go to Innovation RC, to just making it better, you know, knowledge going out to you guys and all that. So I appreciate every bit I do. Thank you. And once you donate, you'll get your face. You'll get your name on the board of awesomeness over there. And that's how we'll do it. Let me try to bring it up a little bit more. Maybe without dying. Yeah, if you guys can see. There you go. All right, so that's the board of awesomeness because it's awesome and I appreciate you guys. Here's the thing, even if you don't donate, I still appreciate you. All right, so let's see what's next. Let's see what's next. Main P Racing. He is teaching a class. Yeah, yeah, right. All right, let's scroll up a little bit. Let's see. CJ, I see CJ up in there. What do you think about the new Hobbywing Max 6 G2 4990 1650 for drag racing and an Arrma Limitless 8S? All right, all I have here is Castle. But that doesn't mean I don't like Hobbywing. I appreciate like all the new G2 stuff. It's nice. It's actually sick. It's a great upgrade. The whole new generation of Hobbywing stuff is great. It's like a flat out new gen upgrade. It's amazing. So I give them that, but my preference is just this, but whatever. You have a Limitless, you're running 8S and you're drag racing. So even though that motor is a little bit better, well, you know, even if it's censored, it's going to be a little bit easier off the line. But you got to keep in mind, if you're running a lot of power in an Arrma Limitless, if you're drag racing, the go-to ESC is a Mamba Monster X 8S. Why? Because it can easily put out over 350 amps. That's what you need. And on the new Max 6, I think it's what, 180 or something like that? I know that's not like upon launch, like instant, what's it called? I don't know. Like the instant launch or the maximum peak amperage for 1 second or two might be like 500, but keep in mind, if you have an ESC that can handle the sustained maximum amperage, it's just going to make for a better setup. You're not going to hurt the ESC. You're not going to limit anything. It's actually going to make the motor hot if the ESC doesn't allow more power to it. It's actually going to like kind of choke itself out, or the ESC is going to get out. Either way. Is it a good setup? Yes, it's a great setup. It's 1000% better than like OEM, what's it called? Like the OEM, you know, what comes stock in an Arrma Limitless. Oh my God, nothing comes stock in a Limitless. The I just went blank. The Arrma Felony and the Infraction. This is the stock motor. So this is pretty much what you're like upgrading from. You're upgrading from this to this. So you have this right now, and that is indeed a big. It's a much better upgrade. So yeah, you'll 1000% do great. CJ, it's 200 amps. Okay, perfect. So 200 amps. That's even better than the previous 160 amps, I believe, the Max 6. 1000%. That's a hell of a lot better, especially on 8S 200 amps. That's a lot of power, you know. So I would say as long as you stay with that motor, the 1650, and not draw more amps, you'll be more than fine. Because here's the thing. Let's say you want to get competitive. You're like really competitive and compete. You're probably going to want to go with like a 26 on 8S, 26 to 2400 kV TP motor. That Max 6 is not going to like it, you know, and you're going to need an X8S. But for now, that's more than fine. I would say that's upper 80%, upper 80 to 85%. So you're fine until you're trying to fight for like 1.6, 1.7, you know. And if you're like 1.8, 1.9, that's still fast. But you know, if you want to go faster, X8S. You could even keep the same motor. It's going to make the motor push harder. But let's see. All right, so that was CJ. Can I put that Spectrum 160 amp on a 6S motor so I can get that XL? I don't understand exactly. Can you put the Spectrum 160 amp ESC on a 6S motor? Yeah. Yeah, you can still run it on 6S, but you're not really going to get as much potency, just because if you don't have amperage, you need to compensate with voltage. Yeah, so if you run it on 6S, that's still fine. It's not going to get the motor as hot, but you're probably not going to see the full potential of the of the motor, and in which that's kind of what you need. So either 8S to make sure the ESC is good enough, or just I would just get a better ESC and keep the motor. Like, you'd be surprised. You don't need a crazy drag motor to go fast. You just need the ESC, and you need a little bit of knowledge on, how to put that power to the ground. You're doing 2 seconds at 81 miles an hour. Good. That's pretty quick. What should I do if it's drawing 300-400 amps in the logs? Well, is that on 6 or 8S? Is that on 6 or 8S for 300 amps? Because 300-400 amps on 8S, and you're at 81, you should be able to get a much faster time if you're pulling around that amperage. What I would actually do, because running a 1650, that's kind of concerning, because you could be over geared, or your solder joints are probably not good. So like whatever connector, if you're running like these connectors, get rid of them. You got to run at least these. You got to, and if you have all this stuff done, good. If you don't, I'm just making sure. 400 amps on a 1650, you should not be drawing that much amperage on 8S. What's your gearing? You got to be geared probably 1-to-1 at least. And you know what? The amperage could be spiking probably because the ESC can't handle it. So it's actually making more resistance. It's kind of like, I don't know how to explain this in a proper way. It's kind of like it's really hot outside and you're trying to do push-ups outside and you're going to run out of steam quicker, But I don't know if that means it's drawing, though. It says, yeah. I mean, we don't know. Like, the log could be off. We don't know. Is the motor hot? Is the ESC hot? All that depends. Are the wires hot? That's one thing. Are the wires only hot? Okay, so you're running QS8s. Do a couple I'm telling you a cheat code right here. Right? Here's your motor, right? Here's your ESC. Doesn't matter, right? You do a hit. 46 spool, 27. Oh, yeah, you should not be getting that hot. Maybe, I think it's a solder joint, but here's what I'll tell you. Right? Motor ESC, it's not plugged in, whatever. But you do a pass, you do 2 passes or whatever, because it's a 1650. With that gearing, you should be more than fine on 8S. Do a couple passes. And then what I want you to do as fast as possible with your hand, feel the wires. Are the wires warm, hot, or cold? Wires should always be colder than the motor, than the connector, than the ESC. If the connector, that's in the middle, right, or this, let's say you feel the wires and, oh, okay, that's kind of cold, but then you feel the connector, it's warmer than the wire, you have a bad solder joint. So that's a little cheat code. You need to figure out where your resistance is, because on 8S, unless you're playing around and bashing note motor, everything stays cool. Well, if everything stays cool, then I think it could just be a calibration in the in like the log or something like that. Something could probably be off. It could just be a little bit hot. But either way, what I want you to do, if the motor could still be cold, the ESC could be cold, but you could feel heat between the connectors, there's something not right. Something soldered is not right in between here. It could be in between the connector with the battery. Just feel literally just touch it. And I don't hear anyone saying this, but they're also telling you, you gotta buy this, you gotta buy that. No, you don't. I'm sorry, little rant right there. Oh my God, I should teach. I should do courses, training, and bull crap. If you need to, I don't know. I'm not going to rant. You don't need to spend a lot of money to get these cars going down the road, for real. You really don't. All right, we're catching up. I mean, cheat code, it's not too much a cheat code, but it's going to show you what's wrong. It's kind of like hooking a OBD scan tool up to your real car and like, oh, what the hell is wrong? Except you're not going to actually like see exactly what's wrong. But between all the wires, feel them. Feel the wires on the motor, feel the wires on your battery, feel the battery, because let's say the battery could not be keeping up with the amp draw. It could be a poopy China Bing Bong battery, you know? It happens. Or a battery could just be going. You got to check your solder joints and everything. If you're pulling over 300-400 amps, you need to check everything. This is my original XLX2. I think, oh yeah, this is the alpha. This is an alpha unit when I alpha tested it for Castle. Okay, this was originally in Juggernaut, which was the first 5th scale Kraton to break 100, yeah, 102, 100 miles an hour. I have 6 gauge wire on it because it's a very heavy vehicle. I also use lead-free solder. You know, you need to make sure the resistance is as low as possible with the more power that you put down. You need to make sure all of your solder joints are on point, because if they're not, it could be catastrophic. You know, let's just see. It could, you know, it could also just be a lot of wheel spin. At, because the amount of torque inside a 17 or a 49 series it's a lot of torque, and you'll probably break loose, and it's probably just making RPM skyrocket. I'm running 8,000 milliamp 120C 4S. Is that the hard case pack? Excuse me. If it's a hard case, I'm going to tell you something else, because I'm curious. Because maybe it could be the batteries just, you know, if the batteries can't feed the motors, you know, everything's going to be more resistant and, you know, and crap like that. If you have a hard case, hard case batteries don't perform well. 90% of the time, hard case packs do not perform as well as soft packs. Bada bing, bada boom. Just because it says 120C does not mean it's better at all. Those shiny graphics, it's just going to get you to buy it. Hard case, yeah. What gauge wire is on it? If it's 10, 12, 11 gauge wire or something like, if you can see the gauge wire on that battery, and if it comes with like a Dean's connector, there's no way that's 100, you know, nowhere, not even half that. You know, I would just look into a higher quality battery. You know, maybe it could be suffering there. It could be a number of things. It can most certainly be a number of things. Okay, so here we go. Next up. Crystal plants. Let's see. What's a good motor ESC combo for the Kraton 4S? Okay, so for a 4S Kraton, since that it's a large 10th scale, I'm just considering it English. I'm considering it to be 8th scale. CJ, Azure, oh yeah, 1000% Azure. I mean, it doesn't even matter if you buy my battery. I don't care. Just anything better that can put out more power, that could sustain voltage under load. That's what you need. And again, just when you make more hits, feel the connectors, feel the wires, feel all that crap. All right, so regarding a system setup for a Kraton 4S, right? I know it's like a 10th scale or maybe 8th scale. No, it's a 10th scale, but it's like the size of an 8th scale. So regarding that, I would recommend, I mean, you could go with like a OEM motor that comes out of the 6S Kraton, not this one, but like the newer version, the Spectrum version, or like a Castle 2200. Or I would actually recommend, you know, you could even run like the 1512 1800. The 1812, you know, oh my God, 1812. The 1512 1800, that's probably going to be a little bit more efficient than what's stock, and it's plus upping your category in motor size. So it's definitely going to be a better, you know, a decent step up. Either run a Cobra 8 ESC, so it's an 8th scale, or an X8S. I mean, X8S might be a little bit too big, but you're never buying another ESC. So, and plus you could do God's work with that ESC in that truck anyway. Okay, Let's see. I don't know what that means. All right, so you're running BSR pink tires. The CNHL G Plus, or yeah, CNHL G Plus, they certainly are. There's some of the best batteries that I've ran. That's not a parallel. You know, I don't want to run parallel. I was looking at Zur, Kimba Blue IC5 plugs. Okay, so here's one thing that I would tell you. I would definitely upgrade your connectors. What about the 2650? Yeah, you could run the 1800 or the 2650. Run that on 3 or 4S. It's going to stay cool and nice, actually. I just did like 110 miles an hour with this in a 4 or 5 pound heavier vehicle than the Kraton 4S. It'll throw that around like a rag doll. So 2650 is a great option. Hell, the 2200 is probably a perfect blend. 2650, 2200, or the 1800. If you don't care about speed and you want to run, let's say, 2S and a 3S, you're probably going to want to run that one, the 1800. I believe 8 gauge wires are 10. Okay, so I'm pretty sure the hard case has 10 gauge. But either way, as long as it has at least 10, that's good. Because I've seen other battery packs have like, well, in their hard case, and they're all on eBay, Amazon. You get a 2-pack for 40 bucks. Yeah. 100, 110C, 100C, whatever. Yo, wow, you, me, bing, bang. Okay, so all those. Okay. It says 100C on the battery, and it comes with 13 gauge wire with the Dean's connector. You know, that's blasphemy. You just got to make sure that you buy the right battery, you know, do some research, ask me. It doesn't matter. Just don't spend money on crap and then your car blows up because of it. You know what I mean? It's running Q. Okay, good. Yeah, so definitely if you're running 8S, 1000% QS8, over 300 amps, you want the QS8, or hell, even the bullets. This is actually some of the best connectors you can buy right here on the XLX2. Genuine 8mm Castle polarized connectors, bullet connectors. You want to run those. You want to clean them after every run, you know. And yeah, they're not anti-spark, but I've always had my best luck with those. Speckled Gem 15, 2200 is a sweet spot. I agree. It most certainly is. That's why this is like one of the most common solid upgrades for a 10 scale. If you can fit it, if you could fit a 10 scale motor in a 10 scale car, you know, this is perfect. It's got more than enough power. This was the motor that people ran in like Rustler 2-wheel drives 10, 20 years. Well, not this version, but older versions of the 2200 to do like a 90, 100 miles an hour. This was the OG motor to do that with, and you know, it's thick, it's cool, it's great, and yeah, cannot go wrong. Can't go wrong. I'll always have a 2200 in my arsenal. I will always. You just can't go wrong with it. Like you could do 130 miles an hour. I had this in my Limitless in 2018, 2019. No, 2019 when it first came out. Did 131 on 6S. You know, it's nothing. It wasn't a crazy hardy setup. It's just a 2200 in a larger car. You do over 130. Imagine what it can do in something half the weight, half the size. Not speed-wise, but like just general all-around performance. This thing on 3S is not going to get hot. You know. How many amps will my Mamba Monster X? Wait, hang on. It just went away. Mamba Monster X. You have a Monster X. It's a red and silver X, the 6S one. I think that is actually a 250, 240 amp ESC. That's the first ESC I ran to break 100 miles an hour ever. I had a Mamba Monster X 6S back in 16. I broke 101 miles an hour with my Typhon 6S. That's why I'll always have a Typhon. First car I've broken 100 miles an hour with. It's such a good platform. I sold my XL1 to buy the Typhon, and the Typhon outperformed the XL1 when it came to speed. It just handled better. It's just so much better. Let's see. They tend to stay nice and cool. Oh yeah, absolutely. I friggin' love the 2200, especially gold. This is going to be a future project, actually. I'm saving one of these, and hopefully when they get back in stock, I'm going to get... And then that's what I'm going to use this dual motor mount for. Twin limited edition gold motors on that. And it's not going to be ultimately for speed. You guys are... Your mind is going to be blown. And it's this... Oh, actually, you guys could see the car I've been trying to keep a secret. That's it! But I'm not going to show you guys. I'm not. It's going to have another variant of it. Completely different setup and whatever. It's going to... That's a Hobeo. I'm going to do this in a Arrma. Oh, it's going to be sweet. I just love doing slick, clean builds like that. I don't care to go fast anymore. You know? I don't want to get hit. Let's see. Tiny_7. Should I put a Hobbywing motor and ESC in my X-Maxx? I bash, but mostly want to go fast on dirt. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, what I'll tell you though, regarding an X-Maxx or XRT, I will 1000% tell you, don't go with like a big, don't go with a big can. Don't go with a big monstrosity of a motor. Do not. Back when I was at my local hobby shop, God, I think we had 11 X-Maxes there, and all of them had, no, 10 of them out of 11 had different, like, front or rear diff issues. They all upgraded their motors, and, you know, it kills their motors. I mean, it kills their diffs. The diffs just can't hold up. And keep in mind, it might be different for some of you guys who live up north, because here's the thing. Unless you, I don't know how to bulletproof an X-Maxx, unless you metal everything, but you really don't want to do that still. People who upgraded their motors to the with the big scale, you know, even the 1100, which is a great middleman mode, it's perfect actually. They still blew their diffs. There was one of them, the only one out of 11 that had a broken servo, but whatever. But they just can't handle all that instant torque, which is why Hobbywing is actually better to put in there than Castle. That's exactly why. Now, it's not only the motor, it's also the ESC. Remember I said, when people go Castle, they get more instant grunt power, brute force. Those polyplastic metal, I don't know what diffs they have. It's not 100% metal. But they don't like it. And all I'm saying is just be careful if you go with a larger scale motor in ESC. If it's Hobbywing, you're going to have a higher chance of sustaining the life of it. So I will actually say for an X-Maxx or XRT, beware. Don't be careful when you run, you know, large scale anything, you know. Oh, especially when you put on like the MX43 tires. I don't have them with me. But really grippy tires is going to destroy that transmission. It just happens. People beat on them. And here in Florida, actually, what I was mentioning earlier, why it happens more here in Florida is because it's hot, it gets humid, and then plastic warps. Guess what the whole differential housing is that holds the diff in? Plastic. So that's also another reason. And more torque, more power isn't going to help. But keep in mind, if it's hot, it's humid out, just the longer you drive it, just be more careful on it. And that's what I figured out over time. After the hundreds of X-Maxes I fixed, oh my God, I don't miss working on them. They're not exactly impossible, but, you know, just be wary regarding the weather. If it's really hot outside, like here in Florida, oh my God, differential galore. And torque twist is going to bend that plastic out of place, and that's the thing. It's going to torque twist out of there. All right, so let's see. I need to make my own high watt PWM motor. Well, so here's the thing, Mr. Lucas. If you make a high wattage motor, that's the easy part. What you need is an ESC that could put out the power that you're looking to receive with that motor. You know, that's that. You need to make sure that you have equivalent electronics all the way around so they perform to their greatest capability. So going with a crazy big motor isn't always the best thing to do. But that would be cool, Lucas. If you could do that, that'd be sweet. I always like the old BLX motor. Yes, sir. I love my BLX. I'm never getting rid of it. because they also don't make them anymore. And this motor's been over 140 miles an hour back in 2020, I think. I think Kenny Malenko, oh my God, I hope he's doing well. He hit 140 miles an hour with the stock, oh yeah, I think it was on 5S. On 5S. So the motor had the torque. He wasn't, and he was smart when he did that, because if you put more RPM and you stressed it out, he probably could have locked up that motor. It was an XLX2. XLX? No, it wasn't an XLX2 because it wasn't out yet. So it was the original green XLX. With this, his solder joints were on point, his batteries were great, and his car was amazing. It was in a slash 4x4. 140 freaking miles an hour. You don't need a crazy big motor. You don't need two motors to, you know. Although you'll get there a lot more efficiently. And, you know, when your knowledge gets there, you guys can do that too, you know. But he was at that, I mean, not at that time. I think still he's one of the kings of low cell. He did all that on a slash 4x4. He did 130 on like 2S, I think, and that was years ago. That's impressive. I think the most I've ever done on like a single battery 3S, like a genuine 3S setup, not parallel. I did it in my Limitless. I did 3S. I think 121 on a single 3. It's the most I ever got. He did over 130, which is crazy. All right, so let's see. Tiny_7, thank you. You're welcome. Tyson Fondrick, yes, found out with the stock act. Yeah, you got to be careful. For stock motor, it was sweet. Oh yeah, absolutely. This is like a 2J. Like in the real car world, this is literally the 2JZ of motors in the RC world. You know, and what's equivalent to that? This. You know, literally the 2J of the RC world. You'd never think, but you could put more power into it. You could run that on 7S and be careful. I wouldn't recommend, but you can do that. Let's see another comment here. Another comment. Leonard Heron, my project isn't as big time as everyone else. That's okay. That's okay. We don't like big motors. They draw too many amps. My project isn't as big time as everyone else. I'm building an HPI RS4 Sport 3. My goal is 120 miles an hour. I have a Castle 1410 3800 kV. Mamba Monster X Extreme 8 scale, so 6S ESC. Any gearing suggestions? So, I mean, it depends on the voltage that you want to run. You have a 3800. I mean, I would probably try to stay as much as possible in gear reduction. I would probably be close to direct drive, which is the same pinion spur, but make the pinion on the motor slightly smaller just so you have a little bit more torque and less load. And I would run that on 4S. Just run it on 4S. That's all you need. 3800 kV. I know it's a 3S motor, but if you're looking to break 100 and then some, if your car is set up right, you could do that. Keep in mind, I ran this little 10 series for like 2 seconds on 6S. Don't do it. It's gonna void one. Do not do it. That I actually ran that in my Mojave Grom right here. When I said I was doing, oh my God, this whole car is apart. My little Mojave Grom eyeball, if you guys remember, I did 92 miles an hour on 6S. I was actually half throttle. I wasn't clickbait. I don't clickbait. Half throttle on 6S. So run it on 4S. It's going to run a little bit cleaner than what my setup was because you do actually have a larger motor. Run it on 4S. Pull the trigger slow. Make sure you have really good tires. Probably go BSR tires, like a pink or purple compound. And make sure you have a body that puts some downforce on it. Keep that thing on the ground. CJ, what's your opinion on TP, Steve New, Cordova, Seiko motors for drag and what kV? All right, so here's what I'll say to that. Do you like Wendy's? Do you like Burger King? Do you like McDonald's? What else? Or Checkers? Answer that. Well, here's the thing. You eat them. I personally like them all. I mean, McDonald's, it's horrible for you, but you like them all. What matters is how much power, I don't care what motor you have, how much of that, what percentage of power can you put on the ground? I've seen, perfect example, I built a drag car, and he was on a budget, you know, he wasn't going to get good stuff, but not crazy high-end stuff, you know. 2200. I think it was 2939 gearing on 6S, and it was a limitless. The fact that he wasn't pulling so much power is what had him actually win hundreds of dollars before, until, you know, guys that really knew what they were doing with larger motors showed, and then they beat him. But for a budget $1,000 build, only 1,000, and keep in mind a limitless could easily exceed 1,000. He did really well. You don't need a, where am I going with this? Okay, so all these brands, like, they make really good high quality motors. I love Steve New. Seiko, I believe, uses Cordova rotor. Yeah, I think they use their rotors. Either way, though, that's like the top tier regarding quality of motors. And yes, I think Steve New and Cordova, I believe they're American made. I know Steve New's American made. I think Cordova is American made. Either way, they're extremely high quality, yes, but 90% of the time, and this is why I've had a couple, but this is why I don't own one to this day. Okay, with how much you're spending on a motor, right? As I said, I only put a 2200 in the guy's car, and then he was actually doing really well in the 6S class against an 8S, obviously not, but you know, if you can put all 90% power down on this motor, I would rather have this motor at 90% than one of those schlong dong donkey, you know, really long drag motors on 8S, in which damn near kills the ESC almost every time, except you're only putting like 50% of its power down. And keep in mind, you're also stressing, you're killing the ESC, the batteries, every single time you run it, because it draws so much amp. Crazy high kV, crazy high voltage. They're great motors, but I'm not trying to put them down, because they do actually have really good motors, but 98% of the people who buy them, including myself, I'm no one to talk shade about, you know, other people. There are motors, I haven't even been able to get 100% power out of a 2028 from Castle, and I'm at like 160. I know you could get 170, 180 on a single motor, maybe 190, you know, possibly 200, but I'm not there. You don't need to spend $400 or $500 on those crazy motors. You do not. And what gearing? Doesn't matter. Gearing does not matter. What matters is if you're out there, you know what road you're running on when you race. You align your car for the road. You do the alignment, not at home. You can have a setup thing here. Oh, look at me. I'm scientific with... Yeah, that's cool and all, and I'm not knocking it. You need to compensate. Let's say you're in Florida or any other place that has a road crown. You know, road crown. If you align your car to go straight, right? And then the torque of the motor torque twists the car left or right. And let's say you're on a road crown. It doesn't matter if you have a $500 motor. That just means you have a $500 motor and you're going off-road. You need to align the car. Step one, align the car that you're drag racing with for the exact road that you're running on, the exact side that you're running on. You know, where am I going with this? What's the best motor? Honestly, they're all crazy good motors. They are Steve New, Cordova, Seiko. They are amazing motors. What ultimately matters and what makes those motors even better is the way you set up your car. That's what I'm trying to say. As I said, I would rather run this at 90% than a big schlong-dong $500-600, you know, specific drag race motor, and half the time make it to the line at 50% power out. That's my genuine take. You know, that's why I sold my Steve New, and I bought a TP. TP is great. I'll tell you, I love Castle, but the only other motor that I would go with that isn't, let's say, really high and prestigious like Cordova, Steve New, oh, it takes a month to build, let me hand wind it, you know, all that crap. It's TP. I have TP and Spartan. I have TP and Vision. Those are those are some of my fastest cars. And I love Castle. I really do. But there's different motors for different builds. You can still do 200 with a Castle, but single motor, I feel TP is going to be slightly superior. Castle is going to run a little bit more efficient than TP on average, because TP is usually, if you're comparing like a TP that's this big, 6-pole, it's a 6-pole. It's going to draw a hell of a lot of amps, and you just got to be careful with them. All right, so and what does a Mamba Monster 2 Tyson Fondrick? What does a Mamba Monster 2 ESC pull amp wise? I have a 2200 V2 combo sitting waiting for my Typhon build. Mamba Monster 2, believe it or not, that does over 200 amps. I know for a fact it does. I've done, I think, 120 miles an hour with that in a Typhon 6S, actually. I've done 120 with it before, but that's about breaking point, So I know that it could probably do a little bit more, maybe 250. But I know for a fact if you're running 6S on an older Max 5 ESC, I specifically tested it. 6S 2200 Max 5, 6S 2200, and then anything else. Mamba Monster 2. The Mamba Monster 2 actually outperformed the older Max 5 on 6S. Obviously, if you're on 8S, it's going to outperform on 8, but it's a good ESC, And the thing that's replacing it now is Cobra. It's a Cobra ESC, Cobra 8. And this is easily a 240, 250 amp ESC. Cryo drive, it cools off faster, But either way, what you have is perfect. I wouldn't change it. Which is more reliable? What ESC would? Reliability, I would say TP. And I'm not talking about comparing to Castle. I've beat the tar out of some Castle motors. I beat the tar out of some TP motors. I've had some. It was one Steve. It was a shorter Steve New motor that I had, and I don't know what happened. It was just running horrible. It was running good until it wasn't, basically. And I don't know. I don't know what happened. But with the money that you're spending, let's say you blow a Castle or a TP up, and then let's say you have your $500 Steve New, right? You could buy literally 3 more of these motors and still have $100 left over compared to the new. So here's the thing. If you're pushing your car to the limit, it's not going to matter. If you're racing for money, if you're racing for $1,000, right? Who cares about risking on blowing a $100, $200 ESC as long as you make it to the end of the line? I don't want to be out $500. I'd rather, put a TP. Personally, I would probably go with the TP. And if you're drag racing 2640 or 2400 on 8S, be careful. Very high KV. And you're going to have to run a Mamba Monster X 8S that I don't have. Ryan Fujimura, do you use smart sensor cheat? No, I don't cheat. What time you okay, so regarding speed runs, I actually run 0 degrees timing. I run nothing. I don't use cheat. I don't know. I mean, if you want to go faster, why would you have to dick with the that's what I never understood. If you want to go faster, just literally go up 1 or something small on your pinion gear. Like, that's it. And it's easy to change. You don't have to do some, tippity tapping on the laptop. Just go up 1 tooth on your pinion if you want another 20 plus degrees timing. I run 0. And when I say I run 0 degrees timing, I run 0 in everything. In Spartan for speed runs, in Booger over there for bashing, because it's more efficient. And I'm choosing the, red pill, blue pill. I don't know. I'm choosing the efficiency pill. I will choose efficiency over everything. That is the way I roll, and that's what I like. Because here's the thing. You'll make more power with efficiency naturally. Just because it doesn't say 25 horsepower does not mean your car isn't running better. Actually, if you run less horsepower, that means you're more efficient. I saved myself with the identical setup, running 6-gauge wire, 12 amps. And then I think I went from 155 to 150, no, to 160, 155 to 160, not by just doing that. I geared up, but with the amperage that I changed, with the amp compensation that I changed, it drew less amps at 160 miles an hour than it did at 155, with more gearing. But, tips. And then that's where I stopped. I miss 2021. I do kind of miss speed running, but, it's stressful if you gotta look out for cars, people. To say a biker wants to bike, and you know, I just don't have my patience for that. Has anyone tried Steve New motors? Yeah, so we Brian, we were just talking about Steve New, Cordova, and so on and so forth, and Seiko. They're pretty much all the same caliber of motor. And are they good? Oh yeah, they're amazing. You just need to invest more into your car, into your setup, into aligning, literally everything. You need to invest more in yourself if you were to get one of those motors. And me personally, I was not there. They're going to spit out a little bit more power. They're hand wound. They're high quality. They're great. But listen, guys have blown by people with Steve New motors in a friggin' castle, in a Hobbywing motor, a different ESC, X8S ESC Hobbywing motor. You can run one of these with an XLX on 6S. I was thinking of doing that. A literal, I'm not even censoring myself, a bullshit setup, like an OEM motor on 6S. And I just want to set the car up right to where I can put upwards of 80-90% power down. That would be a hell of a unit. It would. You don't have to spend $500-600 on a crazy motor to go fast. Let me put it to you this way. Once you know, you'll know the right time to buy a motor like that. And me personally, with my skill set, I still don't want a motor like that. I don't. That's that. Are they good though? Oh yeah, they're prestigious motors. They are. Let's see. Wait in vain for the combo from Micro X2. Yeah. However, with one internal BC has not been. Oh yeah, I think they just got in stock. Mr. Yo Eddie. I just spoke to Castle today. That Micro X2 combos and these things. I think this is what you have. Literally what you just said. Yeah, 4100 08 series. 4100 08 combo. I have in one of the Groms for a customer over here. And then I would just see, because they just got restocked and everything. All right, let's check comments. Comment check. Okay, thanks. Brian Madison has an oh yeah, I answered him. Would you recommend 10, 40? It's a 4400 with the Micro X2. Oh yeah, absolutely. This is literally what I have in the NASCAR Grom. NASCAR Grom, 4400, 10 series. You can't go wrong with that. That's what I have in Booger that I ran. I ran that on 6S. 6S half power, 92 miles an hour to a flip. There's just way too much torque. Bahrain Pro RC. Let's see. What do you think for TP Power 4070 SEM? I will tell you, the money that you're spending on TP, like you're getting a motor that's like 95% almost identical of the, not only the wattage output, but just the ability of that motor to like a Steve New. I don't see where you can go wrong with that. You know, like the SCM motor or even a standard CM. If you can find any in a, well, probably not a SCM, but maybe just a standard CM. If you can find a Y-wind, that not only will run a little bit more efficient, but you'll be right next to all the Steve New and, you know, Cordova motors. If you know what you're doing, that you could take that motor to the top. I know for a fact. Those TP 4070s are a hell of a motor, and they're not too torquey to where you're spinning the whole way. I mean, you could, but it's easier to put power down. Instead of, if you go with a motor this long compared to that long, you're going to basically not naturally put down less power. That's kind of like if I was 500 pounds and if I use my legs to get up, I'm using more power naturally. But I'm a small schmuck. I'm 160. I'm going to use less power to get back up. You know, so 4070 I feel is a sweet spot, especially SCM. You're not going to have as much torque as a standard 4-pole, and you have a 2-pole. I think that's a hell of a motor to run for drag. If you were to drag, go TP. That's what I would say. Me personally, I don't care to rev up high. I would honestly just do a Castle 2200 X8S, run it on 6S, and I'd rather put more power down. And if I lose, congrats, you beat me. you know, with a castle. Let's see. Yeah, the 2-pole Typhon is. Oh yeah, you could. Well, you speed run. You don't drag, so speed run. Yeah. Oh yeah, 153. Awesome. That's a hell of a number in a Typhon. Very good. With a small pinion. Yo, yeah. So it's probably super duper high kV, but it can do it. It's got the torque. Let's see. Brian Madison. Sorry for late. Thanks so much for the info. Yeah, I run a 1520 with the X8S and a Pro SC, and I hit 136. Oh yeah, no, that's awesome. You can absolutely brag about that. I've never heard of anything Thunder Tiger doing over 120. That good for you. Hell yeah, that's great. 1520 is perfect. That's the only motor. Oh, I just put it in my Rock Racer. I'm working on that video now. But the 1520, the motor that you have, the 1520, 1650 kV, that's like literally in the middle of both of these guys, and it's perfect. That's probably a perfect motor. Exactly for what you're running. Okay, it's over an hour, so I'm gonna say this once more. For all the guys who are new here, thank you for joining Innovation RC Live. We're talking about motors, we're shooting the shit, we're asking questions, and I'm answering to my best ability for you guys. I appreciate every single one of you guys who come in here, and yeah, so this is the donation board. I'm sure if some of you guys have, seen this before. If any of you guys donate, I greatly appreciate it. All proceeds go to making the channel, better. Hopefully, I'll get better quality recording devices, hopefully, so you guys can see better regarding what I do here, answering questions for you, helping you guys out, hopefully saving you guys money, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, I want to make sure you guys are set right, because there's a lot of not right information out there, or people trying to sell water to an ocean, and I'm here to clear that up. So if you guys want to donate, I greatly appreciate every single thing goes to the channel. Thank you. And if you don't, also thank you. I still thank you guys for being here. All right. God, that was painful. I hate asking for money, but I'm giving like good. You guys know. I hate asking for money. Just a tip. I'm not looking for a lot at all. All right. So let's see here. Yes, so I don't have any. No, I sold my new. I had a 1533. I had a custom new as an 8mm rotor shaft all throughout. I had custom bearings. I had a custom finned can. It was a sweet motor, but it did not. It was just not worth the extra money. It just wasn't, because what I was doing with the 2200. Castle, I was doing within 5 miles an hour with the same setup, and obviously I'm sure the motor could have done more with the newer generation ESC like an XLX2, but at the time it was, I took like $150 hit. It cost me $540. That's how much it cost, and that was 5 years ago at least. That's a lot. That's a lot for an RC motor. This is 250, I don't know, 270 or 250. I don't know. Literally this Coke can. So you can imagine, it's twice the amount that this is. I sold it, I bought 2 TPs, and I paid a bill. One. So it was just significantly better for me to just sell that larger motor. Let's see. We're gonna go back up with the live chat. Yeah, 150 is fast with a small pinion too. I wonder what amps you were drawing with the small pinion. I mean, of course, it depends on your KV and all that. But what up? How many amps? I hope you caught the data log on that. I'm curious. Super curious. With the small pinion doing 150, that's great. You're letting that motor wind up, which is what you want to do. You're using the motor rather than the gears. Curious. I'm guessing you're probably at least 5, maybe 4 and change. I don't know. Around there. But either way, that's it's pretty damn good. But yeah, so all right. So keep in mind there are different variants of all these motors, identical can size, but but there's also different RPMs. You know, it's like having the same exact shoe size, but different styles, basically. You know, so you just need to know, you know, what's going to be best for you, what's too high of a KV. If you're just going to play around, just play bash, you need less KV then, if you don't care about speed. If you want a little bit more speed, you're probably going to want more KV, and that depends on everything. Absolutely depends on everything, you know. And I just want to make sure you guys get like the right choice motor exactly for your application, you know. I want to make sure you guys are happy, you know. And I'm not doing this because of Castle, you know. No, I'm doing this because I love talking to you. I just happen to have these motors. Even Hobbywing, I'm talking to you guys about Hobbywing. The new G2 series are, I'm not going to curse, great. They're a little bit more affordable than Castle, but they don't put out as much, you know, power. But as a upgrade, I mean, they're friggin' good. Oh, I got a notification. Let's see, less than 30 teeth. Okay. Brian Madison, $10. Oh my God, thank you so much, Brian. Thank you for the great info, and always enjoy your content. Keep it up. Sorry, not oh, why the hell are you being sorry? I'm appreciative for you guys just being here. Thank you so much. All right, so he's going on the board of awesomeness. Okay, here we go. Probably gonna have to move it my way. Thank you so much. Oh, we're eating tonight, boys. All right, my handwriting is gonna get worse. Brian Madison, let's see here. Brian, $10. Thank you, Mr. Brian Madison. Thank you. Please don't fall. Okay, good. Maybe I'll buy a better I'll buy a better stand rather than just using a chair. Thank you again, Brian. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Thanks for all the tips. Have a good night. Take it easy, Main P. Take care. Less than 30 teeth. Oh wow, yeah. Wait, but how many amps did you draw? I'm curious, using an SCM. I never ran an SCM for speed runs. I've only ran a CM. I've ran actually kill modes 27 and 2900, and I love those motors. I'm trying to get another one actually. Before I move, he's local to me, a kill mode motor. I would love to get a 2900 again. Love to, just to have another TP in my arse. I don't have any. Oh yeah, wait, I do. I have big scale ones, but I don't have like high revving ones. So that's that. Oh, hang on. Okay. Like the 2900. Oh yeah. That's the one that I'm looking to get from him. Another 29. It's a sick motor, and I don't know how much longer he's gonna be like doing RC stuff. I think he's just wanting to do. I think he's burnt, honestly, which I completely get it. I was burnt actually a year ago. I was thinking of quitting YouTube and all that stuff, and you know, so I get it on his end. I think you know, he's just wanting to do his own stuff. I get it. So I would probably pick up a motor, you know, whenever, because I'm not sure how long you'll have a kill mode motor available anymore. I want to get one, and I'm not going to sell it because I sold my 27 and 29 to a couple other guys out down here local in Florida that wanted to test it out. And you know, I was like, I did all my runs and I loved it. So you know, and he's a cool guy. He really is. So I know for a fact he's doing what's best for him. And yeah, so on and so forth. I gotta get a kill mode motor. I gotta get a motor. No, I'm just kidding. But I do want one. I do want one. Yeah, 1000%. Main P Racing, glad I stayed in RSG. Yeah, me too. I was actually on the breaking point about 5 months ago. 5 months ago, I was at a breaking point. I was thinking of just stopping. Then again, I thought, wait a minute, what if I just do this full time? And then that will be my decision to, hey, do I really want to keep doing this and give up what I worked? I mean, I worked a lot on my channel, a lot of endless night, you know. So it's not about me. I want to hear about your guys' motors and stuff. But yeah, so I'm glad I stayed in this too. It's wholesome. I love talking to y'all. I love giving you guys tips, saving you guys some money, directing you guys the right way the first time, because that's, you know, it's hard to direct free advice. It really is, because there are some guys that gave me advice. Obviously, I you know, there's no finance involved with it, but it's hard to genuinely take free advice because you don't know if it's actually real. So, you know, I've had advice and I've had bad advice, you know. So when is next class? Main P. You know, I tried for yesterday. Wednesdays. I was trying to do Wednesday. Motor's in my way. I usually try to go live on Wednesday, but I had to edit a video. And I'm almost done, so that's why I called it on a video, so now I'm here. But hopefully every Wednesday. And, you know, so we'll just do more stuff like this and so on and so forth. So I enjoy doing this. I love it. What else? What else? You guys want to count screws with me? I gotta clean my whole workbench. Okay. Let's check comments. 2900 kV, 152. Oh, hell yeah. That's a sweet motor. That's awesome. All right, so as I was saying, there are different variants of the same motor. This is, oh, what's it called? This is an 1100, okay? I personally ran this one in Spartan. I did 159, and then I did 160 on the dot with the TP. They have 1100. There's the 800, which is mainly for like bashing and, you know, all that stuff. For bashing, playing, and large-scale stuff. I would say 1100 is going to be the start of where you're going to want to probably go fast. You know, this size motor, you're probably going to want to run higher kV, which is why I actually have the big scale TP motor. That's like the same size as this, except instead of 1100, it's 1260 kV, and it's a Y wind. What does that mean? It's just the wind of the motor, the configuration, and it's just a little bit more efficient than a D wind or a delta wind motor. And that is my favorite large-scale motor. So hence why I have 3 of them, 1 in Spartan and 2 in Vision. So a little bit more RPM was actually a sweet spot, actually. This is great, and it ran very cool, but I feel I was just topping the motor out RPM-wise, you know, unless I get probably a parallel setup and, you know. But single motor, that TP I feel was a little bit more superior, but it runs a little bit warmer. This ran cooler. Obviously, it's lower kV. 1721, there's 2, and this is actually a sweet middleman for not wanting to go crazy big like this. Sweet middleman. This is a 2400. Is this the beta unit? No. I accidentally hit 147 on 6S. Accidentally. Testing this. I did not think I had a gear. I think I was geared like 2934 on 6S in my Limitless. That broke my 6S personal best by 10 miles an hour. No, 11, like that. Incredibly potent motor. You need to make sure you're in gear reduction with this thing. And if you want to go faster, you need Godspeed. You need to be careful. They have the 2400. They also have the 1260, which is actually perfect for an upgrade if you're looking to play around and bash and, let's say, you know, jump and stuff like that. In like a 6S Arrma or like an Arrma Big Rock. I actually want to put, I'm going to put a 1260 kV in my Arrma Big Rock. It's the perfect upgrade. Perfect. You cannot get any better than that. Oh my God, it's fixed. Oh, hang on. Hang on, guys. We're back. Just had to text my girlie. Drive safe. All right, so let's see. Oh, I gotta unlock the door. The double deadbolt. It's just so it's easier. I'm still reading comments. I'm still reading. Let's see. Should I get new batteries for that Mamba Monster 2 build? for a basher. I mean, if you're just bashing, oh, the F word. Stay. I mean, if you're just bashing, you don't need to ensure that you have like tip-top batteries. You know, you're just playing around. You're not trying to squeeze out another mile an hour or two or anything like that. You know, I would say you don't need to buy new batteries unless you need them anyway. You know, you don't have to. Let's see. Comments. EC5 connectors on the Mama Monster 2. I mean, if you're just bashing, you're fine with the EC5, you know, or EC, IC, it doesn't matter. They're cousins. It's all the same. Wish I had room for speed builds. You and me both, and that's actually why I'm moving next month. That's why I'm moving. You know, it's so expensive down here. It's ridiculous. I'll have literally more than twice the square footage for the identical price, and there's, you know, it's just so much nicer. Where I'm moving up north, I'm moving up to Tallahassee. It's just such a better way of life. It really is. And I'll hopefully have a room to do RC stuff in, and I'll be able to categorize everything. And you know, there's just more room and stuff that I've been wanting as a human being. But it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. I'm nervous, but amen. Yes, sir. Appreciate all your advice from CJ. These are questions that I can never get an answer on. Why are people worried about gearing? Or are they in the drag world taping their motors? That's the most recent thing that I saw. People are taping their motors. Not, you know, I understand where they're really competitive and they work hard on a setup and you don't want to show like your gearing, you know. I get it. That's actually why I'm hiding this build right here. I don't want a certain select couple people to copy. I've had companies copy my creations, you know. And people benefit off my ideas and stuff. So the stuff is going to be changing within mid to the end of this year. 2025 is going to be a good year. Yeah, I'm going to come out with stuff that, oh, it's going to be sweet. I'm literally holding back. That's why I'm just killing time with like the bashing videos, like because I got to move too, and I got some good. Oh, you guys are gonna like what I have planned. All right, Matthias, greetings. Howdy do. CJ, I think in the future I will go with a TP motor and a Max 8S or XLX2. If you're drag racing, just go with the X8S. The X8S is superior for drag racing because if you run a, let's say, that TP motor, right? Let's say it's hell. I mean, that 2900 kill mode. That 2900 kill mode is going to run a lot better on a smaller, well, not a smaller ESC, but the board of technically a smaller scale ESC is meant for higher KV, right? So your standard 8th scale is like 2,000, 3,000, 3,500 kV and pushing hard. You can do that. XLX2, you run this thing at 3,000 kV on 8S, you're going to blow it up or it's going to croak. And that's why a lot of people in the drag world, they were like, oh my God, the XLX sucks. It doesn't suck. It's just you're not using it in the right application. That's like buying a Corvette to go off-roading in. What sense does that? But you would expect a larger ESC to deal more amperage, but that's not the point. These right here, these three things right here, the motor wires go in them. The board has to deliver power to each of the three phases. The boards of the ESC distribute from the battery to the ESC to the motor, right? If you have a higher KV motor, it's going to have to distribute faster. Here's the thing. You have a bigger, larger KV, oh my God, larger KV. You have a larger ESC. This board is going to be designed for lower KV. 1100, 800, anything under like 2000 kV and under. This thing is going to be a beast. It will. But once you go up in KV, let's say to a 2400, I ran the 2400 on 8S with an XLX2, and I got the same top speed that I did on 6S. ESC just did not like it. It's normal. I saw the cutoffs. I acknowledged it. This happened twice. Nothing was hot. Nothing was disconnected. It was normal. ESC just cut off. Too much flow at once, and the ESC can't fire its phases or whatever to the motor. And when it can't keep up, it's going to trigger a code that's not going to relate. It's not going to tell you, oh, I'm underperforming because my board doesn't. No, it's not going to be that. This is an under the cover kind of thing that a lot of people don't ultimately, realize. If you're running high KV and big voltage, you either need to gear way the hell down. Obviously, if I'm doing speed runs and we're geared up to the moon, you just need the right application. X8S is probably the best ESC right now for drag racing, unless someone wants to put a big can in it and run an XLX, in which I don't see what's wrong with that. You can still get a lot of RPM through gearing. There's many ways to skin a cat. Yeah. All right, so let's see here. Checking up on comments. How long have we been live for? An hour and a half. Wow. I talk a lot. Shut the heck up. You're right. Let's see. In the future, I want to get the most money worth out of my hobby. Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you already have the Hobbywing setup, just run it. There's nothing wrong with it. Just if you're really looking to compete, I'm looking at XYZ, and your current intention is just ABC, which is more than fine. Run the Hobbywing. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're tight on money and you want to see the biggest difference, only buy an X8S ESC. You don't have to get the combo motor. You don't have to get the 1717 with an X8S, unless you need a motor, and then yes, get the combo. But just get the ESC and run the Hobbywing motor. You'll thank me later. And you could do God's work with the. It's kind of like putting a tune on a real car, right? Like my car has a piggyback tuner, right? I didn't replace the engine to give it another 100 horsepower. I just have it just allows more power. That's just what a better ESC does. An ESC just allows more power to the identical engine, motor, engine for the real car, so on and so forth. If you put the X8S, or better yet, an XLX2 with, let's say, whatever stock motor, i.e. why Kenny Malenko did 140 plus miles an hour with this bone stock motor, otherwise known as 2J. Yeah, that's the point. All right. Tyson Fondrick, thumbs up, guys. Get the word. I appreciate that. Thank you. Tyson, please. Thank you. Yeah, you just need to make sure you guys get the right thing for the right application. Or if you decide to go, I don't care if you guys go against me or whatever, but if you guys' ultimate intent is to get something, just make sure you set it up right. That's the thing. That's why I cut out at 147 on 8S. And then on 6S, I did 147 also, because I didn't realize, because it was a brand new motor. There was alpha testing. Beta test on this one. We had no idea. That motor hauled ass. And that's the thing. It drew a lot of amps. I didn't know what I was getting into. First pass, my warm-up pass on 6S was actually my top speed. And I was not looking to do that. So on and so forth. Great. Had a great time with that one. I was actually in awe. I was like, no way. The price difference, it's almost foolish to not get the combo. Exactly. Yeah, Matthias. Yeah, if you need the motor, then absolutely, definitely, get the combo. But if you don't need a motor at all, you're probably going to save $150 and just get the ESC. That's all you need. But either way, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to manhandle you guys real quick. Hang on. I'll be right back. We're good. She's about back right now, so we're going to conclude very shortly. Very, very shortly. Actually, I'll manhandle you guys again. If you guys want to get this angle here. Oops. So I'll just go in order here. Maybe I should turn this off. Hang on. All right, so just so you guys can see, no light, no light. All right. 08 series. This is a, I don't even know what kV. I think this is like a 4,000. Oh my God, no, 8,200 kV. So we have our 08 series, 10 series. This is the most common thing with what's going in the Arrma Groms over here. As you guys can see, I got like a Losi NASCAR, a Mojave Ascension, a Granite, like I have all of them. 08, 10 series, 14 series, 1412, 1415, 1512, 2200, 1717, 1721, 2028. And I'm going to turn this on because I get hot fast. All right, so that's pretty much our whole lineup. That's our whole lineup. And yeah, let me catch up on comments real quick. Yep. Alrighty, gentlemen, I'm going to conclude this. So I hope I answered a bunch of your questions. And if you guys have more questions, reach me on Instagram Innovation RC, obviously Innovation RC. Just message me and I'll do my best. I'll do my best to get back to you because I just get a lot of messages and whatnot, and I'm usually busy, except for this time. If you guys do message me, just remind me if this video, or sorry, if this live referred you to Instagram, let me know. I'm curious to see how many of you text me on Instagram after this live. So curious. Alrighty, guys, I appreciate every single one of you who came out to this live. Thank you for asking all of your questions. I hope I helped you. I hope I helped you, and I hope you guys learned. Again, Instagram if you have further questions. So yeah, we're about done here. Again, I appreciate every single one of you who did donate, whether it's this time, previous, or whatever. Brian Madison, thank you. I'm not sure if you're still here, but thank you for the $10 donation this time. Thank you so much. Thumbs up for him. And yeah, appreciate it all, guys. Stay safe and have a good one.